Greetings, Morgan from Marduk here. You're watching Impact Channel.
Greetings everyone, we are here with Morgan Steinmeyer Hakansson from Marduk again. Hello, nice to see you again.
Great to be back.
How is the tour so far?
So far so good. If you look upon the circumstances in Europe with the current situation, it's been going very good turnouts, and great to be back on the road, meeting the legions of fans again, so it's great to be back.
Yeah.
Things are moving again.
It's going to be a sitting ovation today.
Yes.
I guess you have seen the crowd.
First show we ever doing that, but I mean, for me, whatever, it's better than not doing a show, so
That's true.
new experience.
Mm-hmm. What makes you feel like when you think about these last 3 decades of Marduk behind your back?
I don't know, it's like the first 3 decades, and we look forward to what's to come after that. I mean, it's hard to think of it being so long. I mean, when you look back, time goes faster the older you get in a way, so I don't really feel like 30 years, but time flies, so it's the way it is.
And what do you consider to be the greatest milestones and the low points of your career?
You can look upon high points and low points in every week. I mean, I don't care. The high point is that we have done it for 30 years and we still keep on marching, and I think we are on top of what we do. So for me, that's the highlight. Of course, low things, I mean, it's a lot of them, but whatever, that's also life, to overcome those things and be triumphant in the end, you know.
Mm-hmm.
That's the most important thing.
Which are your favorite Marduk albums by decade?
I don't know, because very typical thing to say maybe, but I mean, all album represents something, a different chapter in our career, so they also had their high and low points. I mean, for me, they all are equally important because they all symbolize the strength or where we were at certain time periods. So I'm equally proud of everything we have done in that perspective.
And which is the most underrated album in your opinion, in your discography?
I don't know, I don't give a shit. I mean, we do what we do, and if whatever happens in the world, or if it gets bigger exposure than any other album, it doesn't matter to me. I mean, I believe in what we do, and that's the most important thing, and we keep on doing what we really believe in. That's why we have been around for such a long time, because we're a band who believes in what we do, and we do what we believe in, and I think that shows the strength of the band.
And have you ever considered to play some B-side tracks on the tour, or something that you have previously never played before?
We try to throw around the set list from time to time, but I mean, now we do this set, and when we finish this, we're going to do a completely different one as well. So we try to switch around, because there's always songs people want to hear, and also things that you don't play, but people ask, do you play this, do you play that? But it's started to become a long list of songs to choose from.
Any news on the upcoming Marduk album?
Of course things are happening, but I won't go out and say anything before the album is completed, because I'm tired of seeing all this band putting up how many songs they have completed and what they're doing in the studio, this and that. For me, it doesn't really give me anything. I mean, it will come when it comes, and people will know it when it comes.
I think you mentioned before that you are thinking about some kind of death-related concept on the next album, right?
Could be.
Is it going to happen?
Could be.
You're not spoiling anything now? All right.
No, I mean, the album will speak for itself when it comes. So.
When can we expect a new album coming out?
I don't know, because we got a bit, not delayed, but I mean, we doing this 30-year anniversary tour, which was supposed to be done last year, but we really want to do it and complete that one before we release the next album. That's the thing that I can tell about that.
So you have recorded your albums at Endark Studio since Plague Injure. Do you still plan to continue to work with Devo on the next album?
You shall see, but overall, yes, we work very well. I mean, he used to be a member of the band for such a long time, and to record in a studio in your own city makes everything very relaxed. And I mean, as I said, he's been a part of Devo for such a long time of the band, and we work very well together, so I don't see any reason why not to continue to work with somebody you work so well with.
How did you find the new band members?
Things just fall into place when you need it.
Did you consider to get in touch with some of the previous band members about the positions in the band?
Not really. I mean, everybody moves on. It's a reason why they're not a part of the band anymore for most members. I mean, it's like a family thing. I mean, you get older, you mean 10 years goes, and you get different interests, and you have a different perspective of life. So some people want to do different things, so then they should do it. I mean, simple as that. And if somebody of the old team would come back, it would have happened if it should have happened.
And did you follow what the guys did after they left Marduk?
Most of them, yes. And I'm in contact with quite a lot of the guys still anyway, so...
What did you think about, for example, Emil's and Legion's band Devian?
I actually heard so little of it and it's so long ago, so I don't even remember how it sounded. No idea really.
And what's new with your other project, Death Wolf?
Things will be happening as that. Well, I mean, there will be a new album, but I don't know when, but a lot of it is completed. But it takes its time. We live a bit split out and we have a lot of different things to do, but it's coming.
Have you thought about forming another project or band beside the ones that you already have?
I think I have quite a lot to do already, so it's fine with me. But if I would feel the interest in the future, of course I would do it. But right now I'm fully focused on what we are doing.
Okay. Last time we had some chat about the studio work and your gear. I was a bit surprised that you sold your 7-string guitar. What was the reason behind it?
I mean, I don't really need it. I mean, we still do a few of those songs, but I used to do that with a pedal instead of bringing a 7-string guitar. I'm very confident, and I think it works very well to have a regular 6-string.
Okay.
It's enough.
You're using the Digitech drop pedal, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Just for maybe a few selection of songs we do, just because it's not, of course, the same as playing a 7-string guitar, but I'm not bringing it along to do 1 or 2 songs, you know, so that works equally well.
You're playing like Bleach Bones, that was also written on 7-string, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And 7 angels, 7 trumpets.
Oh yeah. Okay, cool. And do you also compose songs with this drop pedal, or you're just keeping with the 6-string?
No, keep to the 6 strings.
Okay. You also said before that you keep that kind of Slayer-like approach with recording the 2 guitar tracks and everything. What made you change from the
I don't know.
guitar
If
sound?
you go back to it, I think you get even more dimensions in the music by just using 2 guitars. How strange it is, sometimes less can be more.
Okay.
Even though Yngwie Malmsteen will say something completely different, but it works for different things. And I mean, I think it brings another different dynamic in it to do it that way.
You had some really interesting experimental approach between Nightwing and World Funeral. It was maybe more, I wouldn't say progressive, but a bit, just different compared to the ones that you had before and after that. What do you think about those albums?
I like them both. They mean a lot to me. I mean, World Funeral is one of my favorite albums. The only negative thing is it's a very plastic sound on the album, but whatever, it's still great songs, and I think it's a great atmosphere on it. So I'm proud of all the albums we have done. They each are very important milestones in what we have done as a band, and it's all pillars which we stand upon.
So that's why you switched from Abbey Studio to Endarker Studio, I guess.
Yeah, because I prefer the way of recording. Do it in your own home city, be able to go in. You can work for 2 days in a row, and you can go back home, and then you go back in. You can record in a different way, so that works better for us.
Okay, let's talk about your first encounter of black metal. What was your first experience with the extreme or black metal bands?
I don't know. I don't even think so much about borders of music. For me, it's good music. I mean, black metal, I mean, of course it's Venom, but I mean, I also remember being young, watching, for example, a TV show called Monsters of Rock with Mick Wall on Sky Channel. They played like Celtic Frost, Circle of the Tyrant, Piranha with Exodus, Slayer, Hell Awaits, those things that got you really into it.
What is your sense of black metal in your own words? For
me, it's extreme metal music with a satanic philosophy. Otherwise, it's not black metal for me.
But it could be death metal too.
Yeah.
With satanic lyrics.
Absolutely. But that's why I always call Morbid Angel and Dayside black metal bands. It doesn't really matter for me. I don't care too much about the limitation or labeling whatever you do. For me, I don't care if it's real death metal. It's what it is, and if it's black metal, what it is. I mean, 2 good things.
Marduk was already an active band when all these scandals happened in Norway, church burnings and stuff like that. Did you feel any kind of impact from society because of these events? And
of course, impact of society, I don't know. We never cared what people think or what they believe. I mean, we live in our own world and we do what we believe in, and we don't give a shit about the rest. So it doesn't really matter.
Because I heard that some of the musicians were even attacked and assaulted.
Yeah, shit can happen in life. That's it. I mean, but as I said, it's about overcoming those things.
I see. I know you were not a big fan of Cradle of Filth and that kind of new wave of black metal around the mid-90s, right? So what do you think about those bands nowadays?
I don't know. It's nothing that's part of my world. It's nothing that I listen to, so I don't know. And I mean, I don't care. They can do what they want and what they believe in. It's their world. I don't know.
And what do you think about this new wave of black metal? I'm talking about bands like Deathspell, Omega, 1914 or Mugwa.
Some of it is good.
Do you have any favorite bands from the upcoming bands?
Favorite bands? I will not name drop bands, but I like the bands that whatever music I listen to, even if it's black metal or whatever it is, I like to listen to bands that I feel that they are convicted and believe in what they, not convicted, but convinced that they believe in what they do, and I think that being reflected in music. I like to feel the power in music that these guys mean what they say. that's those bands that I listen to, whatever music it is. I want to feel the power that they believe in what they do. And I feel like I'm kind of good on judging that, so I listen to whatever I find important and powerful.
During the peak of this vampire madness in the mid-90s, you came up with the album Nightwing. Half of the album was a tribute technically to Vlad Tepes, also known as Dracula.
Yeah.
Is there any historical person that you would like to pay tribute to?
I don't know. Of course there is a lot of historical persons, but it's also what works to write the soundtrack to. I mean, I think there's a lot of historical personalities that would work very well to have a soundtrack written to it. And some of it you might see in the future, you shall see.
What did you do before you became a musician? What was your profession?
What did profession? I was 16, 17 years old. I don't know. I went to school.
Okay, so you didn't have any plans to do anything
Not
like that?
Not really. I mean, I don't know. I was young. I didn't think that. I didn't maybe think 10 years ahead at that time. You were just doing whatever you were doing. And then you find your way in life and everything comes natural, I would say.
And what would you do if you were not to be a musician? How would you express yourself?
I would work with something related to history or antiques or something like that.
Yeah, that suits you.
Yeah, maybe.
You're probably bored of this subject, but I'd like to ask you about this lockdown that happened in the last couple of years. How did it affect your creativity?
Which what?
This whole lockdown thing. How did it affect your creativity?
The creativity, of course, you can still work with things back home, and just that you weren't available to tour. And apart from that, a lot of people who live in bigger cities complain about everything being shut down, which can be ridiculous, of course. But I mean, I live on the countryside, so for me, my life really haven't changed that much. I still do what I always done, so I haven't thought that much about it. Just been preparing to get back on the road and do what we do.
When it comes to composing, you didn't really feel any kind of impact of this whole lockdown?
No, and I don't think you think that when you have so much time, you would do so much more. But I mean, you can't just hop things up. Everything comes in the way it does. But overall, it's been strange times, but not that strange either. I mean, life goes on.
Yeah. And did you find these measures effective at all? Especially, I'm talking about what happened in Sweden, you know.
Lockdowns or?
In general?
I don't know. I've been thinking in a lot of different ways about it. I don't even know today what I think of everything. It's I don't know if what really works or what it really is. Not the right guy to comment about it. I really don't know. I'm just doing what I do and just getting ready to be back.
So what are your plans after the tour?
I mean, as I said, we're going to continue to do the 30th anniversary and reach a few more areas than we've done now, and after that we'll focus on the next album.
Who have been your favorite and least favorite tour partners so far?
It's hard to say. I mean, we toured for 30 years with a lot of bands. The least ones, I don't know, but I mean, we appreciate it. I mean, we enjoy touring a lot with Valkyria from Sweden, people we know. And a band that I always found the greatest amusement to tour with is the American band Immolation. We toured many times and we get along just fine, so I would say they are the best guys in the world.
Yeah, I think I've seen you with Immolation, I think in Dublin, maybe in 2013.
Yeah.
You were on tour with Serpent Sermon, I guess.
Yeah. We did a 6-7 week tour with Immolation.
Yeah.
We've done many tours together. It's one of those bands that we highly appreciate as friends and music-wise.
Yeah, I remember something was fucked up with the gear at the show. Something with the microphone, I think.
That happens all the time.
What was the worst thing that happened to you on tour?
How many shit things have happened on tour? You know, you've been sitting a few days with the bus not doing anything because problems with this and that. And I mean, there's been so many problems, and that's a part of life as well, which I don't really think too much about. In the end, you have to overcome it and still be successful.
All right, then. Thank you for the interview. And
Thank
for your
you.
time.
Thank you. Where do you want me to put it? On my nipple.